Buenos días, queridos futuros alumnos de CELA Spanish School Online. In this video, I will give you more information about our Spanish school and also more information about our online Spanish courses for self-study with teacher assistance. My name is Sabine Loeffler. I'm Spanish teacher since 1992. In 1997, I founded my own Spanish school, CELA Spanish School, on Margarita Island in Venezuela. I know I don't look very Venezuelan, but I am. Spanish is my mother tongue, and my parents were German immigrants in Venezuela. In this video, I will talk about our philosophy and also give more information about our online Spanish courses for self-study with continuous teacher assistance, how they work. Then I will show a few lessons of the courses and also talk about some free resources that we have on our homepage and also in this YouTube channel. This video is also available in Spanish. Let's go. I'm going to explain why I believe that a self-study Spanish course with continuous teacher support is the best way to learn Spanish effectively and in a short time. In my career as a teacher, I have taught in different forms: group classes, private classes via video conference, language immersion in our school on Margarita Island, and now distance learning Spanish courses with teacher supervision. In my experience as a Spanish teacher, group classes are not very effective. You have a place and a fixed schedule. We often work with a textbook that guarantees continuity in the course program, but very often has many exercises and topics that are not relevant in everyday language life. Conversation in the foreign language is difficult to organize so that everyone gets a chance to speak. Many of us learned foreign languages like this in school, and few of us learned them successfully. I had 5 years of English at school in Caracas and didn't learn much. And I had 2 years of French in university, and I know almost nothing. You also lose a lot of time. It is difficult for us teachers to correct all the students in the group. Often, there is also competitive behavior in the group. We compare ourselves with the others, and that doesn't have to be the case. The one-on-one lessons are a little better in terms of effectiveness. Here, I also include video conference lessons. Students and teachers share time and space. In my experience, the disadvantage of this form of teaching is that you often lose the thread of the course. Since you see each other once or twice a week, you have to constantly check where you are with each student. In addition, many students only work with the teacher during this time, do not do homework, and do not continue learning outside of class. This is an expensive and often slow method. Language stays are a different way of learning the language. We have a lot of experience in this at CELA, as we offered this type of courses between 1997 and 2017. The courses were intensive, between 10 and 25 hours per week, with accommodation in host families and activities with the teachers. Progress was a little better here, but the students only worked intensively on the language for a few weeks and then did nothing more. In addition, there were always a lot of distractions with parties, travel plans, and other activities. Spanish was only spoken in class, as most of the students communicate with each other in English. It was also an expensive method that not everyone could afford. Another option is to go to a Spanish-speaking country for a few months to learn the language and practice. This also has mixed results. Speaking with native speakers is not like speaking with a teacher. In conversation classes, we choose the topics according to the level and interest of the students, make corrections, and explain the causes of mistakes. That's why people who live in the country and haven't had classes often don't speak good Spanish. My mother lived in Venezuela for 40 years and had a very strong accent and many mistakes. My father was different. Many people thought that El Señor Jorge was Venezuelan. My father's name was Georg, and he translated his name into Spanish right away. My father always studied. I remember that he studied with the Assimil method. You learn by translating and comparing languages. Now we know that that is not the best method, but it worked very well for him. I think it's very important to talk to native speakers, but also need to be corrected and have professional feedback. I myself learned English and Italian by listening and speaking, and the result is quite bad, as you can hear. I got used to making mistakes, and now I have to work twice as hard to get rid of them. I can't expect any feedback from my native speaker friends because you don't correct people who are trying to speak your language. And besides, native speakers are only native speakers and not teachers. They can't explain your mistakes to you. I lost a lot of time. I don't want the same thing to happen to my students, so I try to develop the perfect Spanish courses. It is very important to me that my students make good progress and understand my explanations. I always say that a teacher is as good as his students are. Because pedagogical training is a must for a Spanish teacher, in 2000 I did a master's degree in distance education at UNED in Spain, where I learned the methodology of distance teaching. This is a special pedagogy that has a long tradition. Distance learning has always existed, even before the internet. Every country has at least one well-known distance learning university. UNED in Spain, UNA, Universidad Nacional Abierta in Venezuela, Fernunihagen in Germany, and the Open University in the UK. Nothing is new. Everything has already been invented. In true distance learning, the course material takes on the role of the instructor. Later in this video, I will show you this with examples of our lessons. An important feature of distance learning materials is that the exercises must have solutions and they must progress step by step. I also specialized in adult education at UNED because my students are adults. As for my linguistic training, I studied linguistics and literature at the Universidad Central de Venezuela in Caracas and obtained my PhD in linguistics at the UNED in Spain. At the university, my teachers taught me to observe and analyze the Spanish language. I still use this today to solve Spanish language problems in a simple way. But where I haven't learned the most is in my daily work with my students. I also learned a lot from my colleagues who were more experienced than me when I started teaching Spanish more than 30 years ago. They explained to me what the Spanish textbooks didn't and still don't explain well. Now, I will talk about our teaching philosophy and explain the methodology of our self-paced online Spanish courses with continuous teacher support. We will also see 2 lessons together. At CELA, we offer a free trial lesson to anyone who is interested in our courses. Clear and precise explanations. We like to say that in CELA we make the difficult easy. Hacemos fácil lo difícil. We strive to give clear and precise explanations with few exceptions. If a rule has too many exceptions, it's not a rule. In Spanish, there are some topics that are a bit complicated to learn, such as the difference between the verbs ser and estar, the use of the past tenses, the difference between the prepositions por and para, and the use of the subjunctive, among others. These topics are difficult because these differences do not exist in most languages, and also because they are not properly explained in the textbooks. As an example, I would like to take the explanation of the difference between ser and estar that the IA the Inteligencia Artificial offers us in Google, which is nothing more than the inaccurate explanation found in most textbooks. La principal diferencia entre ser y estar en español radica en que ser se usa para describir cualidades permanentes y características esenciales de algo, mientras que estar se utiliza para describir estados temporales o transitorios. The difference between ser and estar in Spanish is that ser is used for non-changeable qualities or characteristics of the subject, the grammatical subject, while estar is used for changeable states or conditions. This explanation is only partly true. The difference between both verbs is that we use the verb ser to talk about characteristics of the grammatical subject in the sentence, and estar is used to talk about the state or condition of the grammatical subject of the sentence. However, states and characteristics both can change or can be permanent. Juan es viejo, Juan is old is a permanent characteristic. It will not change. Juan es joven is a transitory characteristic that will change. So the difference between ser and estar has nothing to do with temporality of time. It is based on the difference between two concepts, characteristic or state. We use the verb estar to talk about the state of the grammatical subject of the sentence. States can change, like el perro está contento, the dog is happy, or can be permanent, like el perro está muerto, the dog is dead. So, states can also be permanent or transitory. This momentito. And we use also estar to talk about localization, where somewhere or someone is. El perro está en la calle, and estar is also the auxiliary verb in the gerund in Spanish. El perro está ladrando. So these are the functions of estar in Spanish. This nonsense about permanent and transitory has been confusing students and teachers for years. We have an article on the subject, on this topic, in our homepage. I will give you the link in the description of the video. I will also give you the link to our video lessons on ser, on estar, at the bottom of the description. This is just an example of what happens with the usual explanations. In our courses, we work with the difference between ser and estar in all levels, from A1 to C2, from beginner to advanced. Because it is not easy to get used to the concepts of characteristics and state from one day to the next. I will now show you the lesson on ser and estar from the A1 course, and then the lesson on the same topic for the B2 level. I will also show you what our self-study lesson with continued teacher feedback looks like. In level A1, we learned the difference between ser and estar in lesson 5, because first we learned the verb ser in a whole lesson, and then the verb estar in a whole lesson. Because our students first must get used to the verb conjugation of ser and estar. Both verbs are irregular in the present tense. First, we practice enough both verbs to understand what characteristic and state means. And only then we take both verbs together and work with the difference in lesson 5, which is this. In the A1 course, the explanations are in Spanish with translation into English. Slowly, the translations become less and less because the students know more and more Spanish. Well, first we have the written explanation. We explain when each verb is used, and then we come to the video lessons here. The video lessons are available in Spanish and English. First, we offer the video lesson in English because it's the beginner course. Then, we have more explanations and more examples. We have enough examples, and then we come to the exercise 1. Aquí está. The exercise 1 is an exercise to fill in and has the solutions at the end of the lesson. In the beginner courses A1 and A2, the solutions also have an audio, so you can listen to the pronunciation. Exercise number 2 is an exercise to send to the teacher. In exercise number 3, we have to decide whether the following adjectives are characteristics or states and have to form sentences. This is an exercise to send in to the teacher. Then, in exercise number 4, we have a text about Barcelona, in which we have to use the verbs ser and estar, and the solution is at the end of the lesson. Then we explain the difference between I and estar to talk about the location of something or someone. In our homepage, we have an article about this and a video. In the description of this video, you will find the links. Then we continue with more exercises. In exercise number 6, we have a video for comprehension. In this video, some persons are introducing themselves, and then we have to complete this table with the information of the video. In exercise number 7, you have to answer some questions spontaneously and send an audio to the teacher. The audios in the course, the audio exercises and pronunciation exercises in the course are sent by WhatsApp, and then you will get your correction. Then we explain the verb tener, another important irregular verb in the present. We have expressions, and then we have exercises. In exercise number 8, you have to fill in the verb tener, the correct form of the verb tener, and the solutions are at the end of the lesson. Exercise number 9, we write some sentences spontaneously with the verb tener, and you send that to your teacher, in this case me. In exercise number 10 is a pronunciation exercise. We continuously practice pronunciation in our courses. And at the end of the lesson, at the end of the first lessons in A1, we have at the end a comparison between English and Spanish. So you can take a look on the most important differences. Muy bien. Here we have lesson 12 of the B2 course that I will show you. The B2 course is for students who already speak Spanish and know most of the grammar topics. Nevertheless, we always repeat the difficult topics, such as the use of ser and estar. We have dedicated the last lesson of the B2 course to this topic. We start the lesson with a video from the channel Aprendiz Financiero, which explains about estoicos. Acerca de los estoicos. Here we have the video, and then we have some questions. Here we have some questions to think about and answer. The exercise will be sent to the teacher, in this case, in this case to me, for correction. Then we explain the difference between ser and estar with the same adjective, because it's the advanced course. We have enough examples, and then we have the video lesson with the difference between ser and estar for remember as a review. Then we have more examples. Then we have a review with the difference between I and estar. And a video lessons with ser and estar and the same adjective. Then we have exercise number 2. In which we have to decide if we have to fill in estar or ser. The solution is at the end of the lesson. It's very important to correct ourselves. When we correct ourselves, we are often more attentive and learn more. That's because we always have the exercises with solutions at the beginning, and then we have mostly an exercise for sending in, like exercise number 3, so I can see if everything is clear. Then, in exercise number 4, we added a level of difficulty in which we also added the difference in 2 past tenses, pretérito indefinido and pretérito imperfecto. This is another usually poorly explained topic in the grammar and in the grammars and in the textbooks. At CELA, we explain that the pretérito indefinido or pasado simple is used for actions and results in the past, and the imperfecto is used for the rest. What is the rest? Descriptions in the past, habits in the past, or circumstances in the past. In our homepage, we have an article about the topic and also a video. In the description of this video, you will find the links. The exercise is for sending in. Then, in exercise number 5, we work with vocabulary. So we need to find the adjectives for the following substantives or nouns. And then in the next exercise, we classify them in ser, characteristics, and estar, states or conditions, or also adjectives that can be states or can be characteristics. In the exercise number 7, we work on the recognition rules of masculine and feminine words in Spanish, something we often correct with our students. In the description, there is a link to the article in our homepage about the topic. This is an exercise for sending in. Then we learn passive sentences in Spanish and practice them. Here we have the video with the explanation, then we have the exercises, an exercise for self-correction and an exercise for sending in to the teacher. Then we explain the expression es que for giving excuses. And in exercise 11, we work with the text about the happiest country in the world, which is Finland. We have some questions and 2 exercises to write and send in to the teacher three exercises to write and send to the teacher. Although the course is for self-study, the contact between student and teacher is continuous via email and WhatsApp. Students who would like more oral practice can book our online lessons via video conference to complement the course. Our courses also include exercises that address the real difficulties of Spanish learners. For years, we have been keeping an inventory of the most common mistakes our students make and creating specific exercises to practice these structures. A small example is the use of the prepositions a and en in Spanish. Students make this mistake at all levels. We explain that the preposition a mostly means movement, in place and also in time, and is therefore often used with verbs that express movement. En is the opposite. There is no movement. We do a lot of practice with it because it's not easy. Another use of a and a common mistake is to say visito mis padres. As in English, I visit my parents. But in Spanish, when a person is not the grammatical subject of the sentence, the preposition a always comes before it. In visito, the grammatical subject is me. I visit. Yo visito. And mis padres are persons who are not the grammatical subject of the sentence. So it is a mis padres. These are the kind of exercises we do in the course based on the students' problems and not exercises that create difficulties for the students and do not correspond to the real difficulties of Spanish learners as in many textbooks. In the description of the video, you will find a link to the article on our website. There you will find a detailed explanation with exercises and solutions. Another advantage of our courses is the selected material. Today, a wide variety of materials is available online. Text from different sources, interesting videos on YouTube, podcasts, dialogues, infographics, etc. We call this authentic material. We select the material for the courses according to the level and often adapt it accordingly for levels A1 to B1. To learn a language, it is very important to work with texts. Words find their meaning in the text. The structures of the language live in the text. In our courses, we work extensively with text, practice reading comprehension, and read aloud a lot. Reading aloud helps you better understand the text and practice pronunciation, and it also expands vocabulary. We also work extensively with YouTube videos. YouTube has the advantage of being able to turn on Spanish subtitles. We recommend always watching Spanish videos with Spanish subtitles. This way, You can listen and read at the same time. On YouTube, you can also slow down the playback speed if it's going too fast for you. We select videos based on the following criteria: interesting topic and clear pronunciation of the speaker. The text and videos offer interesting topics to think about, so our students are motivated to express themselves in Spanish. In the course, we have several written exercises. Writing is also important when learning a language. We may not like writing in our native language, but when we learn a language, things are different. We have more time to think about what we want to say in Spanish, and the teacher can correct us more easily. Then we can work with the corrections. That's why mistakes are so important. They help us learn. At our school, we always explain the causes of mistakes and practice them more. Almost all students make the same mistakes because many of them arise from the contrast with your mother tongue or other languages you speak. Competent and targeted feedback. We all learn on our own. No one can learn for us. The books, the teacher, the explanations, the text, the audios, etc., are just tools. It is important to receive expert correction. A good correction corrects according to the student's level and provides clear explanations about why something is incorrect. Therefore, our courses have continuous feedback from the teacher via email or WhatsApp. Teacher and students work as a team and are in constant contact. Oral practice and pronunciation. Although Spanish pronunciation isn't very complicated, it still requires explanation and practice. In the first lesson of our A1 course, we learn pronunciation and practice right away. Our course participants have very good pronunciation from day one. It's always a great pleasure for me when I hear the first text read aloud in Spanish from my new students. You can read perfectly in Spanish from day one, even if you don't understand everything. Reading to pronounce and reading to understand are two different skills. The course material includes many pronunciation exercises to hear and produce sounds, and we also do a lot of reading aloud. If you don't have good pronunciation, you will be hard to understand and won't understand properly because you have other sounds in your mind. The pronunciation exercises are sent to the teacher via WhatsApp. You will then receive the corrections back and can repeat them. We also offer online lessons via video conference where we read text, correct pronunciation, and do conversation. Our method. I think I have given a good impression of how our online teacher-led courses are designed. Our courses consist of comprehensive materials with different exercises formats for each level. Each level has around 240 hours of work in total. Well, these are not lessons. Doing exercises, learning vocabulary by your own, repeating things, no? In total, to complete a level needs 240 hours of work. Our participants work at their own pace and according to their own schedule. Teachers provide continuous feedback via email and WhatsApp for corrections and questions. Additionally, the course can be supplemented with online lessons via video conference, especially if there isn't much opportunity to practice Spanish in everyday life. I am the teacher of the course myself because I love teaching and creating courses. For those interested who already have some Spanish knowledge, we offer a free placement test. For those interested who already have some Spanish knowledge, we offer a free placement test to recommend the appropriate course at our school. After we have marked the test, you will receive a free trial lesson of the recommended course, so you can decide in peace whether you like the course. After that, you are welcome to register. If you have no prior knowledge, you don't need a test. You can request Lesson 1 of the A1 course for free. In the video description, you will find a link to the testimonials of our course participants. Please visit our homepage where you will find complete information about our courses. Request your test and your free trial lesson from us. I want to apologize for all the mistakes I made in this video. Make available the information about our courses to persons who don't speak Spanish already was more important to me than perfection. Muchas gracias y hasta la próxima clase.